Hey everyone, and welcome to our science class. I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into Chapter 1 of our curriculum today, food. Where does it come from? We're exploring a topic that literally fuels our everyday lives, yet it's packed with so many incredible scientific mysteries.
So, I want you to picture your last meal. Just imagine the food sitting right there on your plate. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder about the true journey of that meal? Does it just magically appear at the grocery store or the market, or does its story begin somewhere much, much further away? In this explainer, we're going to trace that whole fascinating journey, from farms and plants all the way to animals, so we can truly understand the different sources of the food we eat every single day.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The purpose of food. 2. Plant and animal sources. 3. Cooking with ingredients. 4. Plant parts we eat. 5. Animal eating habits. And finally, number 6, a quick review and quiz. Let's get into it.
Starting right off with Section 1, the purpose of food. Why every living thing needs to eat.
Before we can figure out where our food comes from, we really need to understand why we need it in the first place, right? So here is our core definition. Food is something that gives us energy, helps us grow, repairs our body, and keeps us healthy. It is literally the fuel for life. Every single living thing out there needs food to survive. Whether you're a human, a wild animal roaming the forest, or even a tiny plant growing in the sun, you absolutely need nutrients to live and grow.
Moving right along to Section 2, plant and animal sources, the origins of our meals.
You know, the food we eat to get all that wonderful energy mainly comes from two massive sources, plants and animals. And what's really wild is just how diverse plants are as a food source. They give us so many different types of nutrients. For example, the rice and wheat we eat, those are grains. Carrots, potatoes, and radishes, those are actually roots. When you're eating spinach and cabbage, you are eating leaves. Cauliflower is, well, a flower. Tomatoes and cucumbers, along with mangoes, apples, bananas, and oranges, are fruits. And peas and beans are seeds. Plants are for sure one of our biggest, most vibrant sources of food.
But hey, they aren't the only source. Animals also provide us with some incredibly important nutrient-dense food that people eat all over the world. Cows and buffaloes give us milk. Hens give us eggs. We get fish meat from fish and other meat from goats and chickens. And obviously, let's not forget about the amazing bees who work so hard to make that sweet honey.
All right, Section 3, cooking with ingredients, becoming a kitchen detective.
Think about a time you've hung out in the kitchen while someone was cooking. You don't just magically make a meal appear out of thin air, right? You have to build it. To prepare any dish, you need ingredients. Ingredients are simply the materials used to prepare food. Every single dish in the world has its own unique set of ingredients that all come together to create a specific flavor and give us specific nutrients.
It's kind of like a giant puzzle. Let's look at how this works. Imagine you want to make a cozy, warm bowl of vegetable soup. First, you've got to gather your ingredients. Vegetables, water, salt, and spices. Then, you combine them and cook them. Separately, they're just basic materials, but together, they become a delicious meal.
And it doesn't even have to be complicated. This perfectly illustrates how even the simplest combinations work. To make chapati, you literally just take 2 ingredients, wheat flour and water. You mix them together and boom, you prepared a staple food that feeds millions of people every single day. Let's get a bit more specific in Section 4. Plant parts we eat. Edible botany.
Different foods come from very specific parts of the plant, and each part brings its own unique nutrients to our diet. This is wild when you really think about it. When you crunch on a carrot, radish, or beetroot, you are eating the roots of a plant. When you eat a potato, ginger, or sugarcane, you're eating stems. Spinach, cabbage, and lettuce are leaves. Cauliflower and broccoli are flowers. Things like tomatoes, mangoes, and apples are fruits. And rice, wheat, peas, and gram are seeds. Next time you eat a salad, you can totally show off and tell your family exactly which plant parts are in the ball.
Now for Section 5, animal eating habits. Who eats what? Just like we have diverse diets, animals also eat different kinds of food. And scientists actually group them into specific categories based on that. The first group is herbivores. Herbivores are animals that eat only plants. Their bodies are specially designed to get all their energy straight from plant life. Some great examples of herbivores are the cow, goat, deer, and rabbit.
Next up, we have carnivores. Carnivores are animals that eat only the flesh of other animals. These are usually our majestic predators out in the wild, equipped with sharp teeth and claws for hunting. Classic examples would be the lion,
tiger, and leopard. And finally, we've got omnivores. Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and animals. They have super adaptable diets. And guess who's on this list? Humans! We are omnivores, right alongside animals like bears and crows, getting our nutrients from the huge variety of both plant and animal sources.
All right, we made it to Section 6, quick review and quiz. Let's test your knowledge.
The absolute biggest takeaway today is that food is an incredible cycle of energy, moving through plants, animals, and us. Let's do a super quick revision to lock this in. We learned that food comes from plants and animals. Plants give us grains, fruits, vegetables, and seeds, while animals provide milk, eggs, meat, and honey. We learned that ingredients are the materials we use to prepare our food. We also discovered that different foods come from entirely different parts of plants. And finally, we learned that animals are classified as herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores based on what they eat. Awesome. Now it's quiz time.
Question number 1. Name 2 foods obtained from plants. Go ahead and pause this explainer for a second and think about it. Got it?
The answer we have is rice and mango. But honestly, if you said apples, spinach, wheat, or potatoes, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Great job.
Okay, question 2. Which animal gives us honey? Think back to the animals we discussed a few minutes ago.
Yep, you guessed it, honeybees. Those incredible little creatures that make such a sweet, nutrient-packed food. You're doing fantastic.
And here is our final question. Question 3. Which part of the plant is spinach? Think about its shape. The answer is leaf. Spinach is a leaf. Fantastic work today, everyone. We covered where our food comes from, the different sources, the parts of plants we eat, and the eating habits of animals. So I have a challenge for you today. Take a look around your kitchen and try to identify whether each food item in there comes from a plant or an animal. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this explainer with your friends. Until next time, keep observing and ask yourself, now that we know exactly where our food comes from, what is it doing once it's inside our bodies? Happy learning.